A big month for Bomgaars. The family-owned Sioux City-based farm and ranch supply retailer celebrates 80 years in business. Tonight, KTIV's Al Jones takes a look at Bomgaars' history and its vision for its future.
This section is 200,000 square feet.
Just another typical morning at the Bomgaars Warehouse and Distribution Center in Sioux City. And by typical, think Grand Central Station at rush hour, with forklifts thrown in, 30 semi-loads of merchandise going out each day, 30 semi-loads of new merchandise coming in.
The warehouse has to stay in balance. You got to have as much stuff coming in as what's going out.
That's Roger Bomgaars, owner, along with his wife Jane, of the billion-a-year Bomgaars retail chain of farm and ranch supply stores. They're retired now, but still show up every now and again.
Do they get nervous when they see you show up? They don't. Word around the bosses
they don't know who I am.
Oh, they don't?
No. I don't come out here very often.
Somebody's seen a traffic directing cop here, don't you?
Yes, and there is some automated systems that do that, but usually it's honking and keeping your eyes open.
Yeah.
The company has come a long way from its modest beginnings. Roger Bomgaars' grandfather, W.H. Bill Bomgaars, started selling merchandise out of a Ford Model A in 1931. In 1944, the first Bomgaars store opened on Pearl Street in downtown Sioux City. Bill had 2 employees, his sister, who worked in the office, and his brother, a salesman on the road. In the ensuing years, there were various iterations and locations, a flood and a fire, but Bomgaars continued to grow. Today, there are 180 Bomgaars locations in 18 states, and the company employs nearly 6,000 people.
Are you surprised at the growth?
Yes, I am.
Why?
Well, I mean, we grow by opportunity. There is no plan. And when opportunity comes knocking, we want to be ready.
And opportunity has come knocking a lot, especially in the past couple of decades. In 2001, Bomgaars had 15 locations. They've added 165 since then. Its biggest acquisition ever came 2 years ago when it bought 73 Orscheln farm and home stores. That made Bomgaars the country's second largest farm and ranch merchant. Despite the exponential growth, Bomgaars maintains a family feel among its workforce.
It's a very family dynamic, and everybody here it's like your family. You fight like your family, but you're also very close like your family.
Everybody's like a big family, and that we are good at communicating over the radios and helping out with each other.
And that is something that we try very hard to maintain, that feeling. The larger you get, it becomes a little more difficult, but it is surprising to us how important that is to employees, to work for a family-owned company.
It's all about the people.
Aaron Bomgaars is the 4th generation in that family-owned company. One of his first jobs was working at Bomgaars.
Worked in the downtown Sioux City store, assembling lawnmowers, working in the deli, and a little bit of everything from that point on.
The son of the owner was assembling lawnmowers?
I was.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That family feel carries over to the communities, often smaller communities, Bomgaars is in.
Those types of towns are really kind of our bread and butter, because in those communities we're the hardware store, we're the pet store, we're the lawn and garden store. We're kind of the go-to in a lot of these towns that don't have some of these other retailers.
It works really well for us. I think it's an essential part of who we are. I mean, we started in Sioux City as a single location and grew slowly over many decades, and maintaining that connection, that hometown feel is really important with the customers, I think.
And what would Bill Bomgaars think today of the company he founded 80 years ago?
My grandfather and I grew up at his knee listening to his stories about the Depression. So he would be probably more concerned about how much debt we have today than how much the company has grown. But I'm sure he'd be impressed with the operation.
An operation with its history and its roots firmly planted in Siouxland for 80 years now. In Sioux City with Chief Photographer Acacia Phillips, Al Jones, KTIV News 4.
Bomgaars has a second corporate office and distribution center in Moberly, Missouri. It services the 73 Orscheln locations the company acquired 2 years ago and rebranded as Bomgaars. By the way, that familiar slogan, what you need when you need it, Roger Bomgaars says he came up with that while he and his wife Jane were driving home one day from Okoboji. That happened about 40 years ago. Bomgaars is running sales and specials through the month of August to celebrate its big birthday.